It's really good to have everybody here. This is week 3. I can't believe it that this is our third live, right? And we're in week 3 of the challenges, excuse me. It's very exciting. And today we're going to talk about visualization in neuro-linguistic programming, how it can help us. What does it do? Well, it's the practice of creating vivid mental images to achieve desired outcomes. So it acts as a tool to reprogram the subconscious mind that, again, always, I repeat, controls 95% of what we do by imagining details, sensory rich experiences that align with our goals. And that influences our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors and moves us towards positive change, because that's what we want. We've all set a goal this month, right? Some were financial, health, with food and exercise, weight loss, spiritual goals, right? We've all set them, and we would like to move towards reaching the goals, or at least getting ourselves postured to reach the goal. The goal is not to reach the goal by the end of the class. The goal is to look at ourselves. How do I do I visualize myself achieving the goal, or do I think it's impossible because of my map? We're going to review talking about the map as well later. Okay. So we want to have positive change. So this technique, they call it a cornerstone technique with NLP because it allows us to mentally rehearse success. And we rehearse different scenarios, and it enhances our performance in various areas of life. It's even biblical to visualize the future, the hope, right? Keep our eyes on the prize of the future, and we're encouraged to visualize it as if we're there. It makes it more real, but that's also an NLP technique, okay? Creating these vivid mental images. So here are some key points about visualization in NLP. Mental rehearsal is one. So by vividly imagining yourself performing an action successfully, like giving a presentation or completing a task, maybe a week of doing exercise consistently for 5 or 6 days, right? We can train our brain to respond as if the event is happening in real time, like it's now. The second one is sensory detail. So to maximize the effectiveness of visualization, NLP emphasizes engaging all senses. If you've seen any of the classes or you've read some of the PDFs, it talked about our 5 senses, and we have them for a reason, right? Sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. If we, in our imagination, use the senses in our mental image, it maximizes the effectiveness of visualization. Okay, for those that just arrived, we're talking about visualization as a technique used in NLP to allow us to reach our goals successfully. Okay, and it's visualizing ourselves there already in the future, reaching our goals as if it's happening in real time. We can make the mind think. So the first key point about visualization was mental rehearsal. The second one is sensory detail, using all 5 senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, and sound, to maximize the effect. So we don't want to just say, oh yeah, I could see myself reaching my weight, my goal weight. No. What can I see? Using the sound, touch, taste, and smell, and our mental image will heighten, maximize the effectiveness. The third thing is called subconscious reprogramming. Now, this is really fascinating. The brain is so, it's curious, it's peculiar, right? The way we're made. The brain struggles to differentiate between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Because you may say, well, but if I know it's not real, I'm not there yet. And we may even say, I don't even think I'll ever get there. But the brain can't really differentiate between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. So if we use this and we heighten it and use all the senses as visualization, and we're consistent with it, we can influence our subconscious mind to act in line with our desired results. See ourselves there, right? Use that imagination. The brain is powerful, and it's a beautiful thing. We're reprogramming it. Neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro is the brain, linguistic is the language we use, and we're reprogramming our minds, our brains. It's possible. So, how do we apply visualization in NLP? We set a goal, right? So visualize achieving your goals in detail. That's the key. Not just, oh yeah, I want to reach my goal. No, in detail. That will increase motivation and commitment. Performance enhancement. Athletes use visualization sometimes to mentally practice their movements and improve their performance. Number 3, overcoming fears. So by visualizing yourself calmly facing a fear, which could be sitting down, looking at the challenge for that day, looking at the video, writing it down, and then saying, I'm going to give myself permission to spend 10 minutes to do this challenge. But it could be that the challenge is causing great anxiety. Just the thought, not the challenge, but the thought of doing the challenge. We feel something because in our minds, and we're going to talk about in a dialogue later, we don't think we can do it. It's too much. I can't. All the negative thoughts. So by visualizing yourself calmly facing the fear, you picture yourself there, looking at the video of the goal, taking notes, and then taking a deep breath and spending 10 minutes working on it. I did it. That reduces anxiety associated with, in this case, doing the challenge. Or some people have it written down and they need to pass it on the computer, put it on to the Telegram so that we can all benefit from it, or send it to me. Overcoming fears. You could use visualization for that. And it builds confidence. So you imagine yourself performing confidently in a stressful situation. It boosts self-belief because those self-doubts, I can't, I won't, I don't know how, I'm too old, all those things throws us down. It discourages us. But with visualization, we can build confidence because we can actually see ourselves doing it. Like, is that me? we create the visual in our mind. It's very powerful. So would you like to do a visualization exercise? Let's do it. Okay. And it's to connect with your best version of yourself and the goals that you want to achieve. All right. So if you can sit comfortably, I think everyone let me see, everyone has their cameras off except me, which is fine. I'd like for you to sit comfortably. Some of us have heating blankets on, heating pads. We want to get cozy. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Again, inhale and eyes closed and exhale. One more time, inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So that's to get ourselves relaxed, relaxing our body and mind. So imagine, you could keep your eyes closed. Imagine that a few months or years have passed. So it's not January 6, 2025, it's November 6, 2025. Or it's January 6, 2026 or 27, right? Imagine that you are living your ideal life. Okay, you've lost the weight, you're healthier, you've been exercising, you're strong. You've worked on your finances and your credit is getting better. You're paying off credit card bills and whatever the thing, paying off a car, planning for this huge trip. You took a course, you're graduating, you're teaching a course, you're teaching a group on Zoom, some type of fitness class, right? Whatever the goal is, picture yourself living that ideal life. And of course, you're just all smiles, right? You've reached that goal that you've been focused on. And I want you to keep your eyes closed and observe everything around you in that desired future. Take a few moments. Keep inhaling and exhaling. I'm visualizing. I have my eyes open, but I'm visualizing as well. I can I can see it. Okay? So look at yourself in the future. What are you doing in this ideal life? What are you doing? You're living your ideal life. You've reached that goal you were focused on. You're observing yourself in that future. What are you doing? Now, how do you look? I'm sure you're all smiles, your eyes are gleaming. That's how I picture myself. What emotions are you feeling? Pure joy, satisfaction. I did it. Look at me, proud of yourself. Look at me now. Who's there around you? What people are around you? Did you just run a half marathon, a 5 or 10K? And there are people that love you, your vitamin people, your crew, your group standing there cheering you on? Did you just finish teaching a Zumba class and everybody's so excited? What sounds do you hear? Think of all those details. The more details you imagine, the more the sensation is intensified and becomes more and more real to your subconscious mind. Okay, now see this future in vibrant colors. So it's not black and white or gray and white. Vibrant colors, reds, maybe blue, green, yellow, orange. And I want you to hear the clearest sounds. Is it the birds chirping? Is it the wind whistling past your face? Is it music? And feel the strongest emotions, whatever it is, if it's pure, just sheer joy, happiness, being proud of yourself, contentment. And now open your eyes slowly. If you have a pen and paper, take a moment to write down a concrete action you will take today to move you closer to that future. Because it was good, it was bright, it was, oh, right? So I'll give you a few moments just to write down, what am I going to do today, 8:18 p.m. here, Eastern Standard Time? What am I going to do today to reach that future, to make that happen? Because every little step counts. Isn't that beautiful? Would anybody like to share their experience? What they saw, what they felt, what emotions they felt? What colors did they see? You can raise your electronic hand. Anybody brave enough? Okay, I'll tell you what mine was. I was at a convention, flitting around, slim, fit. I could go up and down the steps from the first floor to the balcony with my heels on without huffing and puffing. I want to talk to a little girl, and because I'm so agile and my body's in good shape, I can get on, bend down, and get to her level without saying, ooh. I pictured myself in a chartreuse, like a light green suit, pantsuit, heels, my jewelry, and I could hear just laughter and good conversation all around me. And I felt so good that I felt so good. I was so proud of myself that I stuck to my healthier eating habits and my exercise, and my body's strong and I feel good and I have the energy that I longed for. And I'm just smiling ear to ear, and people saying, "Girl, you look good. Thank you." Right? So that's what visualization allows us to do. And what will I do today to move closer to to that future? Well, when we finish the Zoom, I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to drink. I'll just have a little bit of water and go to sleep. I won't have like, let me have a little snack. No, I won't, because I've eaten and I'm good. So that's what I'm going to do today. A concrete action that will get me there closer to the future. All right. If later you want to share, we'll take comments. Okay. So I wanted to talk about, I always like to throw in little extras in our classes. In UCO, we learned about the dramatic triangle, right? This time I want to talk about the mirror law. I've talked to some of you who one-on-one, we've done one-on-ones. What is the mirror law in a psychological sense? So we're shifting from visualization with NLP, and this is just psychological to help us to deal with people better, right? To help us in our interpersonal relationships, which we're surrounded by people all the time. So the mirror law is just as it sounds. It's a psychological concept that suggests that what we see in others is a reflection of ourselves, right? So the idea is that the characteristics, behaviors, and attitudes that we observe in others is a reflection of our own being. So the easiest way to look at that is when you say, "Oh my goodness, so and so is so kind. She's such a kind person. She's so loving and sweet." You're able to see that in them because you have those qualities as well. And that may have happened to you, and somebody says, "Well, you're like that too." And you say, "No." But it's very encouraging to know that if you could see that in someone else, their good qualities, that means it's a reflection of the qualities that you possess, which is very nice. When you think about all the compliments that you give other people, it's as if you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing those qualities in yourself, but you're not realizing it, perhaps. Now I want you to be more aware of it and see your reflection in other people. So that's the direct, I'm looking in the mirror and I see myself. But have you ever, like, if I had something on my phone and I did like this, that's a picture of me. But if there was writing on it, you would probably see it reverse, right? You wouldn't necessarily be able to read it well because the reflection of the mirror reverses the lettering, right? So that's an interesting part of the mirror law. This is the other opposite, because if you are emotionally charged, when you think about somebody else's unconstructive behavior, they're terrible, they're horrible. That could be that you're observing something that's within yourself, right? That will be the exact mirror. You've seen it. Somebody says, "Oh, she has such an attitude," or "She's always late," and you're thinking, "You're always late too," right? Well, she's this, she's that, and you're looking at the person like, but you're the same way. You don't want to say it, but it happens, right? No, it's interesting how we don't see the good in ourselves sometimes, but we also don't see the negative things, the unpleasant characteristics that we may display either. But so that's the direct mirror, the reflection. But also, just as if I showed you my phone, the words would be backwards because of the way the mirror twists it. That could be the situation as well. That this person you consider lazy, your lazy coworker, because they take their lunch every day and sometimes take a little longer. They come when they please. The phones are ringing off the hook and they're on TikTok. They just really don't care. And that to you just angers you. Why? Because you say, oh, there's work to do. What is she doing? How can she take her lunch today? There's 6 phones ringing and she only picks up one as she pleases. And I'm stuck picking up all the rest of the phones. Where's the mirror in that? It's the direct opposite. You're an opposite. That's the mirror twisting it so that you couldn't read the words on my screen. But what does it mean for you? Because it's always, we can't change the outside world, but it's me. What is this, what I'm looking at? What is it telling me? Because there's a reflection on me. I'm the one looking in the mirror, right? So what does that one mean? Can anyone guess? This person that you lazy at the job, not doing what the total opposite of you, you're on it, you don't even take sick time. Loose, please share, darling.
You're the opposite, but in the other extreme.
Exactly. Oh, did you want to say something else? No. Okay. Oh, no.
No,
Okay.
thank you. No, thank you.
You
Sorry.
did you did want to say something else? Okay, no. Okay, Marion, you have a thought?
Well, my thought was from the first analogy that you were saying, and now saying that person is doing negative things. My stepdad always said, "You have to be one to know one." So that's what it made me think of. How do we know so much as to what we're seeing, so to speak, when we're looking deep into a person?
Right.
What are
So
we
that's
looking for? What do we recognize?
right. So that's the direct reflection. I'm looking and I'm seeing, right? But when we're seeing the opposite of what we think we are, we're the hard worker answering 5 phones, and this person is sipping on her drink and just answering one phone call as she pleases, one phone. That is that, as Lou said, you're at 2 different extremes. So neither is correct. Because again, when we look at situations, we don't want to point, we have to accept that everyone has free will and we do not have the power to change anyone, only ourselves. And look at how hard that is just doing the challenges every day in NLP, right? So is that difficult enough? Yes. And that's controlling ourselves. How in the world could we control or change someone else? It's impossible. But that's a hard thing to accept because we think if everybody else would just change, my life would be wonderful. Why, if they would just do it? But then that leaves us frustrated, angry, right? So we want to look and see why does this upset me so much? Why does it bother me that she comes in 10 minutes late from lunch and the supervisor doesn't say anything to her? Or that she gets away with it, even though the supervisor, why does it bother me so much? It's because probably I don't even take lunch. I'm to the other extreme. I don't take lunch because this job is very important. I'm very intense, right? And if 6 phones are If I had 6 hands and 6 ears, I would pick them all up at the same time and answer, because this job is important and it has to be done perfectly. And if we don't get it done, the work is going to increase. So then, you know what? I take work home. I come in early and I leave late all the time. I don't have a social life. I'm neglecting my family. You see? So we're the other extreme to this person here that, she comes in as she pleases. She's like, I'm not doing all that. And that angers us. But it's because it's a reflection of my extreme. Again, I can't change her. There's nothing I could do. If I'm her supervisor, I can have her fired. But other than I can't do anything about her. But I can look at myself and I said, oh. Or maybe it's at home and the husband is just like, oh, he leaves his clothes around and he doesn't pick up after himself. And the wife is, could it be that she's a little extreme with the cleanliness? She's way up here, such standards that it's even difficult for her to keep up with. And because she's way up here and that's just not important to him. Ooh, does it cause conflict? She wants him to change. Pick up that stuff. Why are you such a slob? Stop. Right? Or you're not just punctual. You get there, if you're supposed to be there at 1, you get there at 12:30 always. And then you have someone in your life that if they're supposed to be there at 1, they get there 1:10, 1:15. And the anger, and now when those things happen, stop and think, because we always point to the other person. If he or she, they are always so late. What does that reflect about me? Maybe I'm way to the other extreme. I don't even want to be punctual. I want to be super early. So now the person is 10 minutes late, but we got there at 1:30, so we've been waiting 40 minutes instead of 10, right? We cannot control other people. Parents with their children can't control them. Isn't it interesting how even with mates, it's usually opposites that attract? It's usually never 2 that are very clean or 2 that are very punctual. There's usually one that's a late person. Usually, I've never met a couple that they both are early risers or both night owls. One usually gets up early, one stays up late, right? The law of attraction. But as we've read many times, those very qualities that attracted you can then become such an irritant. And we walk around being so angry and bothered. But this is a way to be able to control our emotions, because we don't look outside, we look, what does this say about me? So again, if it's the direct reflection, it could be, I see good in this person and I never see good in myself. But if I can see the loving, beautiful qualities in this person, that means I also possess them. That's encouraging for those that are really hard on themselves and very negative about themselves. But also, in the same sense, that reflection, if I see really bad and unpleasant qualities in someone else, let's put it that way. They're always late, they're this, they're that. It could be that we display the same qualities. It's so interesting how we can just not see ourselves for who we are. We're not honest with ourselves. And people look around like, is she complaining about that? Right? She's the same way. That's the direct reflection. And then the flip-flop reflection is if that person is the opposite of me, and what they do irritates me and takes away my peace. We want to walk around peaceful, joyous, and enjoying life. That's what we deserve. That person, what they're doing is taking away my peace and my inner joy. How does this reflect on me? Maybe they're over here to one extreme, because we also shouldn't be. Being late is not loving to other people unless it's but being constantly late shows what the message we're sending to someone else is that we don't care about their time. But it could be that we're the way to the other extreme. And we can lower the intensity with which we live. Take it easy. Be kinder to ourselves. Bring it down. When we're like that with ourselves and we expect and we demand so much, then we end up doing that to our spouses, to our children, to our family members, to our co-workers. And that's not a way to live. Then people see us and they're like, oh, here she comes, and they go the other direction. Then we're by ourselves. We're lonely. We don't have friends, right? We don't have those connections, because who can be around someone that's always, you need to do this. Why are you doing this? What? Do it this way. And if that's how we have been, or that's how other people have experienced us, now we can change. And that's the way to change. Looking at ourselves in that mirror. Very important. We learn a whole lot about ourselves, and then it becomes so freeing, because it's not necessarily that it's going to stop bothering us, but not with such because then it's like, ooh, but then yeah, oh, that's right, that's because it's reflecting on me. That's right, I need to work on being less intense. And then we realize how hard that can be to change ourselves. If we could just close our eyes, blink, open them, and we've changed, what a wonderful thing that would be. But again, we're on challenge number, is it 17? And how challenging is it to discipline ourselves to do one challenge a day? So that's the other benefit of working on ourselves. We realize how challenging, difficult, it's challenging. It's not impossible. It's very possible, but it's challenging to make the changes. And then we have more compassion for other people who don't even know that they need to make the changes. And they live in a certain way. They interpret things in a certain way, that we can have more compassion because they don't know. They don't know better. They're just dealing with the tools that were given to them from the previous generation. And the previous generation didn't know. So we can be more easy on others, more compassionate. And when I started learning this, I found myself laughing at myself. Ooh, Karen. Because what we see in the mirror is very telling. It's very revealing. Like, ooh, okay. Yep, got to work on that. Right? And there goes the map. Last week we talked about 3 children with all different responses in regards to taking care of elderly parents, that now somebody's got to step in. And one is all in, very intense. We got to do this, calling family meetings. 2 of them don't, the other 2 don't even show up. Oh, they come late. They don't care as much. The other one says, I'll pay for whatever you need. Just give me the bill, I'll pay it, but I can't come. And the other is totally hands off. I can't see my parents like that. That's not my mom. I don't want to see it, so I'm just going to avoid it. Well, look at that first child that's so intense and so in that she's neglecting herself. She's told her husband, look, I'm your wife, but while my parents are alive these next few years, don't even count on me for anything, because I got to take care of my parents. But is that balanced? That's not balanced. That's not appropriate. Your mate and then your parents, right? So maybe we need to get some help, right? So that first child's map needs to be reprogrammed, redecorated, so that she can also be at more peace. Because if she's like this and she has to be at every appointment and she has to leave her job, and that causes financial strain, and she doesn't, her husband's like, wait, I don't even see you anymore. And the kids, mommy, is she acting appropriately? Is she being balanced? No. So then imagine how she's looking at those other 2. You talk about conflict, but it's because she's at the other extreme. And then she's even on top of the parents. What are you She's cleaning out their refrigerator. They shop for something, and they can't even take her. She's too much. And then of course she's neglecting herself. She's not eating right. She's not exercising. She's not taking time to take naps and refresh herself. She's not handling her emotions. She's not talking to anyone about all this, the changes of seeing her parents age. So that mirror law helps us so much, even in regards to our map, because my map, the way I perceive the situation, is very different from my siblings' map and the way they perceive the situation. But everyone's entitled to have their own map. But if my map, if the way I'm looking at things is to an extreme, I need to redecorate. I need to cut the lawn. I need to plant some more flowers, take out some weeds. Yeah. Paint the fence a different color. Figuratively, of course. And it will help us in our relationships with others, because we do not live on this planet by ourselves. Even if we're single and live by ourselves, we deal with neighbors and workmates. And if we belong to a religious organization, we have those in our congregation and family members and extended family, right? But are we the person that's always so over the top intense that people shy away? They don't, not her. Because we're just too much even for ourselves. So let's look in that mirror, use that mirror law to help you. Remember, it's all about me. It's all about you. It's not the other person. So that we can make the proper changes and adjustments in our own way of being. And it will make us more joyful, because we're not trying to change the world. We're just trying to adjust and reprogram ourselves. What a liberation. More peace, happiness. We give people the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, she only answered one call. Instead of me answering 50, I'm going to try to do 40 today, because I realize, and guess what? I'm going to take my lunch, my full hour, not at my desk. I'm going to go out and take my lunch outside and sit on the bench and then take a little walk and refresh myself and then come back. Let the phones ring. I'm entitled and I deserve the break. This is my hour that the job has given me, or the union stipulates I need an hour lunch, right? Take it, do it. At home, you're Can you take a nap? Can you take a break? 20 minutes, lay yourself down, care for yourself. Even sometimes we're so wired and our brains are running, we can't even go to sleep. But if you could just lay down, put on some soft music and just be calm. That's a gift to you from you. I promise it'll make a difference. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to prioritize ourselves. And the whole world changes. Our whole environment changes when we change. Try it if you haven't. Some of you have, and you're like, oh, it's a shock, right? Because it's so powerful. We don't need anything in our environment to change for us to change and be happy. That's all we want, is to be happy, calm, and well. All right? So I'm going to stop recording. For those that are seeing the recorded version, we wish you were here, but hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you in the last class in 2 weeks. Bye now. Let me stop recording.